I'm ready. Hang on. Okay.
Oh, no theme song? Huh. It's too late now. You've already missed your
I've
opportunity.
already, I've already, I've already missed it.
The theme song opportunity is over. Oh my
Well,
gosh. It is Sunday. It is a little bit after 4 o'clock, and you know what time that is, boys and girls? It's those two
it's
nerds time.
I was gonna say it's pizza time. Like,
Oh man,
well,
that actually sounds kinda good, I'm not gonna lie. I know we
I
just
mean,
had pizza earlier this week, you and I, but and
I
it was
mean,
it was a beautiful moment. I'm not gonna lie,
we,
that the hanging out with you this week, that meant a lot to me because like we don't get to hang out as much as we used to. We both have
yeah, I mean, we
responsibilities and jobs and
we
stuff.
came up
So
with some good ideas, and like I said, I'm just excited for um these projects to finish up around here, just so I can actually, have a little bit more free time. Uh, but it's all coming to a close finally. Like
yeah,
it's getting done. So like I said, I want to get some more time because I definitely do want to pick up another hobby. Um, but I won't announce that hobby just yet. So
no,
we, sh-
no new announcements because I know what hobby you're talking about getting into, and honestly, I think that you're gonna enjoy it. I think you're gonna have a good
it's,
time.
it's underground drug lord.
It's a secret. He's gonna create a meth lab in his garage. He's
Yeah,
gonna be the next Walter White.
yeah.
That's him over there, living in the suburbs, waving his neighbors like "Hi, neighbor." At nighttime, he's putting hits out on people. Like, I'm just
White
kidding.
didn't put hits out on people.
We don't promote violence or drug use on the show.
Well, speaking of hits out on people, a Call of Duty amateur slash like very high up in the scene, essentially like on the cusp of being a pro, has been oh my gosh, stroked out there for a second, suspended for 3 months from
Three
playing
months.
any tournament due to a threat towards a player. The Call of Duty player was Jimbo that made the threat. Basically said he will come to his house and shoot him in the face.
Oh, you can't do that anymore. Well, you should have never said those kinds of things to
Well,
begin
like I
with.
said, I mean, yeah. So he has been suspended. He has been dropped from a very top brand. So they're called, I believe it's called Box Gaming, which is they're owned by the New York Subliners, the pro team for Call of Duty. It's their basically their AAA team. It's their challenger team. They released him and all this stuff. So it's actually kind of crazy. Like I've never seen somebody get suspended for that. Like I mean, I've had people get suspended for like, in other games like Overwatch and stuff for toxicity, like saying like certain things that you shouldn't say, homophobic slurs, stuff like that, and like permanently banned. So it's
Yeah,
kind of interesting.
I'm okay with it. I
Oh, I mean,
really
I am
am.
too. I mean, I am too. Like I said, I mean, I think once you hit like, I'm not saying being toxic is okay, okay, by any means,
No, it's not.
but from the standpoint of a person that is, say, just playing your casual solo queue, don't really care too much about ever making it to the pro scene. If you want to be toxic, okay, you're going to be toxic. Like you're not under a microscope. Now, if you're a person that is high up in the scene, trying to reach that pro level, you're held to a higher standard. Like
Absolutely.
you're underneath that microscope because again, I mean, you saying certain things like I don't really want to name names, but there's a coach for Call of Duty that notoriously says the N word in multiple tweets, and he's sponsored by a top brand, and it cracks me up because I'm like, I don't understand how people get away with this. I mean, I know it's one of those things where it's just like, well, if somebody reports them, they'll probably do something about it.
Yeah, I
But
know.
so,
I mean,
like I said,
there's no place in society for that type of talking anymore. Like for that type of language, for those types of slurs and be like there's just no place for it. Like
yeah,
man, we should be way past that. It is 2021. We have survived a global pandemic for the most part. Yep, it's not 100% in the clear yet, but you just got to remember that we've lost a lot of lives to this, right?
yeah,
And the world is trying to get back together, and we're still dealing with these issues. Like
Yeah. Oh,
Let's
for sure.
let's stop, right? Like let okay, just I'm gonna throw out an idea here to the world. Maybe we could stop murdering people just because. Just because they're different or because they say or think in a way that you don't agree with. Maybe we could start that.
Maybe, maybe. I mean, like I said, I mean, don't get me wrong. The world can be toxic at times. I mean, not only in games, but games especially. Games, I think, is very heavily toxicity. I mean, I think there's a lot of more talk in games,
Sure.
instead of like, you know, some of the things that are said in games. Like if you say that in real life, I mean,
Most
for the
likely
most
you're going to get punched in the mouth at
that's
the
what
least.
that's what I'm saying. Like
At the least.
if you go out and you make a homophobic slur, racial slurs, anything along those lines, discriminatory slurs, anything. Like I said, it's things you wouldn't say to a person right in front of you. It's the classic tweet that I see in Call of Duty all the time. Like all these people talk all this shit online, and they show up to the land saying, "Oh, like before the land, beat your ass when I see you." Blah 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 blah. They get up to the land like, "What's up, homeboy? How you doing?"
Like they've never said anything shitty to you.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
like the other thing I find just that just blows my mind. All right, so let's say that a group of people have decided that a certain term, and I'm talking about the group of people that it actually offends, not everyone else. I could give two fucks about those people, but we'll say that a group of people are like, you know what, we really don't like this word used to describe us at all. Like it kind of sucks, and then they're like, please stop, and they tell the world, please stop. And then you keep doing it, and then someone points out, like, hey, you really shouldn't say that. That's kind of offensive. And then you come back with, fuck you, I say whatever I want to say.
yeah,
No, it's not okay. I'm not saying you got to like tiptoe around people, but if someone says, "Hey,
mhm,
you offended me. You hurt my feelings," and it's legitimate. I'm not talking about being soft because the world's hard out there, guys. It is.
oh,
I'm not talking about being a soft person. I'm talking about like
yeah.
genuine
Well,
racism,
yeah,
genuine
yeah.
hate, genuine offensive things.
I mean,
Then
it's
react appropriately.
yeah. I mean, it's just like right now, like the big hot debate, I would say, uh, is like the whole Dr. Seuss and WAP thing that is like going on. So like Grammys came up, WAP's getting played. I mean, literally stripper poles, money. Like, I mean, this was like, what the fuck is going on type thing. And like I said, it's funny to me because, like I said, I'm not a, it's funny because everybody makes the comment of, we grew up with Family Guy and South Park in our lives. And how did we get so fucking soft?
Well,
And
and South
uh,
Park is still
and so
on.
offended,
It's
so
like
offended. Oh,
it's
I mean,
still on, and they're still doing the same shit. And
oh
every time
yeah,
someone tries to come out and say, "Oh well, South Park, let's get them canceled," they're like, "We've been doing this for like almost 30 years, and
yeah,
we're doing it in a satirical way." They clearly are
mm,
not hate-filled people. They
yeah.
really,
So
if you actually watched their show, you would know that they are not hate-filled
yeah,
people. But they make
so
fun of everyone.
so it's just like so like with the whole Dr. Seuss WAP thing right now. Like I said, I mean, books were removed, and like I said, there may be a book out there. Like I
It
don't
was
know enough
it
about
was
this.
6 books, okay? They took 6
Mhm.
books away. No one asked them to do it. It's not like the
Yeah,
world there was not like this cry from the world saying, "Get rid of Dr. Seuss." His
yeah,
other like 484 books out there that he's done in his lifetime. I don't know how many he's done. They're all still in print. The family and the owners of Dr. Seuss, like the publisher people, they decided that they weren't going to. No one said, "Hey, we shouldn't."
yeah.
It was their
It's
own private company decision. Like they're allowed to say, "You know what? We maybe shouldn't do that anymore. Let's
uh,
just stop that."
yeah. So like I said, it was just really funny to you know because I just remember like I just don't get how some of the songs nowadays like get away with it because like Eminem
Well, it's
was
there.
trying to get canceled. They were trying to cancel Eminem,
Oh yeah, that won't work out very well for them either. I mean,
and Eminem so everybody thought it was like past lyrics, like "Hi, my name is," all those songs. No, it was the Rihanna song,
yeah,
when he says, "I'm gonna tie you to the bed and set the house on fire."
yeah.
I, like, don't get me wrong, like that's a fucked up, like that's hard hitting right there.
That is a pretty messed up lyric.
But again, if you know anything about Eminem, his fucked up life, that's just how he's always done it. But there's some people out there that, like I said, they talk about their vaginas and X, Y, and Z, and it's just
The
like it doesn't make sense.
the thing with Eminem and Rihanna, right? And I'm only going to touch on this for just a second. Rihanna was the victim of domestic abuse.
Yep.
News fact, folks: Chris Brown beat her ass more than
Mm.
once,
Oh,
and she came and did this song, and she felt like it was, worthwhile.
it was her outcry. Yeah.
And she could have said, no, that's offensive. But she's not coming out and saying, oh, we should cancel Eminem because of this
Yeah.
song. You got to
Yeah.
understand that, like, no one is, even Eminem is not condoning that, right? He's not. He's not condoning that.
I was kind
That's
of
not,
hoping we
that's
get a mix.
not what the song was about.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of hope that I get a mixtape out of Eminem about like the cancel culture. But I mean, again,
he
like I said,
he already put out a new song. He put out a song in response to it. It's called Tone Deaf, and I'm telling you, it kind of bumps. It was pretty good.
like I said, that
I like him for what he is and who he is, and
yeah,
like
that
you can't front on him. Like
used to
he's
go.
just
He
he's
used
just
to
who he
go.
is.
I mean,
Speaking
yeah.
of the goat, Tony Hawk, right?
Um,
Probably the greatest of all time
oh,
ever.
by far,
Basically
pioneer skating. Yeah.
basically put skateboarding on the map.
On the map.
I'm not taking away anything from anyone who was
Oh.
before or after, but Tony Hawk kind of like made skateboarding super fucking cool, right?
Mhm.
He just they just did a new story where he did his last Ali 540 and he landed it. I mean, he tried a few times and couldn't do it. They broke
It
down in
took him. It took
tears.
him. It took him
It
like
took him a
50.
few tries.
I watched it. Yeah.
I'm like, that just hit me in a spot that I was just like, oh. But if you want a good laugh, right? If you want to get some like positive, motivational, uplifting, hilarious stuff, go follow Tony Hawk on Twitter, because like he's famous, right? But a lot of people, if you saw him, you wouldn't know who he is. And he goes to like skate parks and stuff all the time, and he'll make these tweets about it. Where like some younger kid will be like, "Oh, hey man, do you skate?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Are you any good?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then like they'll come out and find out that he tweeted about him on the thing. They're like, "You're Tony Hawk. I'm really famous now because I talked to you." So
Yeah.
like it's pretty
I
cool.
mean, it's true. ESPN, like, there's so many times like he's gone to like McDonald's and stuff, and they're like, "Man, you kind of look like Tony Hawk, but there's no way you'd be here."
It's
And like I said, he's like, "I
he
am Tony Hawk." He's like, "Nah,
he seems
nah."
like he'd be a super cool guy to hang out with too. Like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, that dude's
I mean,
52, right? And still getting out there, and he's still doing skateboarding stuff. Like, he's super in shape.
you know who
Uh,
I would love to hang out
like
with?
I'm considerably younger than Tony Hawk, and I'm like, man, I almost hurt myself getting out of bed sometimes,
S-
more or less
So,
getting on a skateboard.
so if you could spend a day with one person, one celebrity,
That's a rough one,
obviously,
man.
I mean, just you know, just one, who would it be?
I see. I don't know, because I admire so many different people for different reasons,
Okay,
and um, I mean,
you
I
can
think
just give me one,
it would
one
be
of your
really
many.
difficult to pick one. Like personally, I think that Samuel L. Jackson would be a super cool guy to just like hang out with. But I've also heard that he might be a dick in real life. I don't know him. Sam, if you're watching, I doubt you are. I don't know that you are not or
I don't know.
are a
Please hang
dick.
out with
I
me.
don't know anything about it, but you seem like you'd be pretty cool. Like you probably have cool stories, and I think that that would be the thing that would be the most interesting is meeting someone who seems like they've had like a really interesting life and done a lot of different types of things, and whether it's acting or TV shows, or got to work with a bunch of different people, and just listening to their stories. Like I know a lot of people don't do this, but I love those interviews where it's just like the famous person talking about their experiences doing a movie or doing an album or something where they got to interact with a bunch of different people and how that experience was. Like
Yeah.
you want to listen to just something great, listen to Samuel L. Jackson talk about his experience when he knew that he was going to be in Star Wars. And he was just like, he said he was like reading the script and he's like, oh, this is Yoda, right? He goes, yeah. He goes, well, who's Mace Windu? And they're like, oh, well, that's going to be you. He's like, cool. He's like, I get to sit and talk to Yoda. He's like, dope, right? Like he was just super pumped about it.
Oh, he's a phenomenal actor in general. Mine would be Steve-O.
I bet you he's got some stories, bro.
Like I said,
Like
I feel like he'd be fun to talk to.
stories.
Well, like I said, I mean, because like this past week or two, I think he celebrated his like 13th year of sobriety or something like that. Like I said, everybody that I know says that he is one of the nicest people to like talk to, hang out with, um, just in general. Because obviously he is the quote unquote life of the party,
Oh, sure.
but at the same time, like obviously he did his jackass. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
between the drugs, stuff like that, alcohol and all that stuff. And just like to sit and like him basically like imagine you wake up every day and you know you're gonna be in the worst pain of your life just to make other people laugh. And
Yeah.
he's like, I do it every day.
Well, and then like
And
he wasn't
yeah.
even making enough money at first. Like when they were doing Jackass, like so this dude's got like a TV show. He's on a TV show that's huge. It's like one of the best and
Mhm.
biggest shows in the world. And this dude can't afford to pay his rent. There's a problem with that. Like that is a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
MTV over here raking in all that money. Like thank you.
Well, you had
And
so
this
many of
dude
them.
can't pay his rent.
Yeah, well, you had so many people that were paying out for that show. Um, but yeah, no, sitting there and I'm like, man, one to listen to some of Steve-O's stories would be kind of crazy to hear about. But I mean, I like I said, I heard he's super funny to hang out with.
There's just some people that like when you look at them or you watch their characters or whatever, or even just them doing interviews, you're like, I bet you that person is super cool, like super chill, super neat to hang out with. Like me, I know everybody like gives a dude like a ton of grief. I don't understand why. I would love to hang out with Nicolas Cage. I would love to sit and just have conversations with that guy
Dude, he
because
is a space cadet.
you know that dude has stories.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's just like Jim
I,
Carrey.
I mean, Nicolas Cage has worked with like everyone at some point. He's been with like you know how that we used to do the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon when we were growing up. Well, it's going to get to the point where it's like 6 degrees of Nicolas Cage because I feel like he's worked with almost everyone.
Oh yeah, I guarantee you he has. I mean, like I said, it would definitely be a toss up for me.
I
Like
think Jim Carrey would be interesting to meet too. He
Jim
might be
Carrey.
too much to handle though. I don't know because it depends on which Jim Carrey you get, right? Like if you get the super ultra serious Jim Carrey, I feel like I don't know that I'd want to hang out with that guy. But if you get this crazy kooky zany Jim Carrey, that might just be
And then
exhaustive. I
then
don't
I
know.
think Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler,
I bet
100%.
Adam Sandler is a super cool dude to just hang out with. He just seems like he's
Oh,
super chill.
or um,
Here's one of my favorite things about Adam Sandler right now. So that dude has made a ton of money, right? And
and got his
now
homies rich. Yeah,
and now he does movies that he just thinks would be fun. He hangs out with his friends and he makes movies and everyone's like, "Oh, that movie was terrible." But you know what?
I
That
bet he
dude
had
gets
a blast the
paid.
whole time.
That dude gets paid to sit around and hang out with his friends all day. And that's awesome.
Oh, well, after so Chris Farley. I mean,
Yep.
I don't know if you know this. So Chris Farley was supposed to be in Grown Ups.
Because I know he worked on the script for a while. Like the
So
idea behind it, it was
so
like in the works.
they were doing they were about to begin filming for Grown Ups, obviously before Chris Farley died.
Mm.
Um, and that they were going to have the same cast that they had, you know, Adam Sandler, all that stuff. The only difference is I think is his name Kevin something.
Kevin James.
Kevin James. Kevin James, that was supposed to be Chris Farley.
Hmm.
So this was supposed to happen like many years ago. And then they brought back the script, obviously made Grown Ups with Kevin in it. Um, but yeah, Chris Farley was supposed to be in that movie. And I'm like, don't get me wrong, Grown Ups is like a top tier movie. Like it
I,
is a
I
funny ass movie.
I loved the first one, and I
Yeah.
couldn't get into the second one as much. I mean, I still watch it if it's on, and
Mhm.
I have watched it mostly because oh my god, the cast is just so good in it.
Oh yeah.
Even though the movie is kind of like, but the first one's great. The first one's
Yeah.
really good.
So I'm like, I couldn't imagine what it would be like with Chris Farley.
I like three of my most favorite comedians of all time. I mean, they're all gone way too soon. And I would have loved to see them do more stuff together, like John Candy and Chris
Oh yeah.
Farley and Robin Williams. Like, I know that guy had a lot
Yeah.
of demons and stuff, and it's not like he didn't get to do a lot, you know. Like,
Oh no, he did so much.
but like that dude, I feel like that dude would have been super cool to hang out with.
Oh,
I
Robin
don't,
Williams?
I don't know. I mean, I follow his
No,
daughter on Twitter, Zelda, and she posts a lot of stuff, like some really great
every
stuff.
everybody will tell you Robin Williams was awesome to hang out with. I mean, again, like I said, you have a man of many voices,
Hmm.
and all this stuff. I mean, one moment he's Mrs. Doubtfire, and the next he's the genie. I mean, like I said, it's one of those things where I mean, like I said, it's cool. It's it's definitely like the what if category of the lives, like, John Candy, Chris Farley movie, uh, and, like, stuff like that. I mean, again, how many movies could Robin Williams been in? Like, where would you like to see Robin Williams put in place instead of another actor in a movie that's already came out?
See, I think one of my favorite activities that's been going on, well, it was kind of going on there a few months back, is where they were like, take a movie, you get to keep one actor that's in the movie, and then you replace all the rest of the actors in the movie with Muppets. And I'm like, I would put Robin Williams in anything and replace him with Muppets. Like that was almost always my first response was like, pick any Robin Williams movie that he was in, replace everyone else with Muppets, and I'd watch that. I would watch that repeatedly.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, special character for sure.
So I think my favorite one on that like the replace him with Muppets was I picked the Twilight Saga, like the entire saga, but I kept and this was kind of like a weird choice. I actually kept her dad, like the sheriff or the cop or whatever, and just imagine him like dealing with all these like fucked up vampire Muppets and werewolf Muppets and like because he always just kind of looked like he didn't know what the hell was going on most of the time anyway, kind of like why am I in this movie, why did I sign up for this? So I feel like we could have made that better with some Muppet action.
you
So
you and the damn Muppets.
I
You
love
can't.
I love Muppets, man. I'm not the only one that
Oh,
loves them. Jason Segel loves them too from How I Met Your Mother. He loves Muppets. He was in the one Muppet movie.
that's that's definitely those are 2 actors I would love to hang out with. It's Jason Segel and, uh, fucking,
Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, they say
K
he's a pretty cool guy too.
well, I mean, dude, his Halloween costumes with his family are fucking awesome.
They're amazing.
Like I said,
Like I
you
don't know that
can't
they're
beat
going to costume contests, but if they are, they should be winning. That's
yeah, I
all I'm
mean,
saying.
so they always obviously do a group costume. I mean, like, the one year that he was the Riddler, and, like, they were all Batman and Robin.
Yeah, I
Like,
forget
one
who
guy
was
was Two-Face.
his husband was Two Face that year.
Yeah. Let me see here. Oh, I did it. I shouldn't have
Yeah,
clicked on anything.
see,
This
that's
is
what you did. You messed it all up. But yeah, like I don't know. I follow him on social medias and stuff, and he posts a lot of really cool, fun stuff.
yeah, the only
I've always been a fan of his. He's kind of out there sometimes, but I like
for
him.
sure.
I like his sense of humor.
Oh,
So
yeah, he's like I said, he seems like a great guy to be around. Um, I've gotten quick at this. I've gotten quick at, putting things back. Um, so let me see here. Let's see the Neil Patrick Harris,
so I have like paint and super glue all over all of my fingertips.
that's awesome.
No, it's actually not awesome. You know how hard it
Uh,
is to text when you've got super glue on your thumbs? It doesn't recognize that your thumb is touching the phone and you're like, shit. Celtic Rage, hey, what's going on?
okay, so that's what it was. So he's done Alice in Wonderland. Um, he's done pretty much like he did Batman and Robin. It was Batman, Robin were his kids, and he was the Riddler. His husband was the Joker. Um, they did like silent films. They did like a circus. Um, one year he was Willy Wonka,
That's pretty cool. Yeah,
and
that's pretty cool.
I mean, like I said, it's stuff like that. Like I think it's pretty neat. And like I said, when you see these actors and stuff like that, kind of like still show off the real side of them. It's like Joe Mangan. Magan. I always say his name wrong.
I can't pronounce his name either.
Um, like his whole nerdy side, like he does not fucking hide it. Like he's
No,
like, dude,
he comes right out in the open with it. And he's like,
uh,
"Yeah, I rolled D20s. What are you gonna do about it?" Like, cause
yeah,
he's also
yeah,
like a pretty big dude. Like, he's not like
yeah.
a little tiny dude.
I mean, I loved him in How I Met Your Mother. Like
Oh,
he was so
so
funny.
good in that show. He was one of my favorite recurring characters in that show.
You guys want to go to brunch?
I also
uh,
liked him in the new Pee Wee movie that came out a couple years ago, where he was with Pee Wee Herman. That it was like a Netflix original movie. Like he was hilarious in that movie. He's so funny.
Like I said, he's a funny guy. I mean, and have you seen the Snyder Cut yet?
I have noticed though that most people who are like D&D people are typically pretty cool, chill people. So if you look at the list of every celebrity that plays D&D, like look at the list and you go, yeah, yeah, they all do kind of seem kind of just like super chill and um yeah, I'd love to get on one of those games. I'm actually thinking about doing like a D&D once a week or once every couple weeks of just like because believe it or not, I actually have Instagram fans now. Not very many, but a few. And I've had several of them. They're like, "Oh man, we really want to play D&D," and I'm like, I should run a game for them. Like, just set up Discord, get them on Roll20, and just like do that. Because some of them have never ever gotten the chance to play. And you know me, I'm always looking for more opportunities to play. So
Oh, for sure. Um, yeah. So have you seen the Snyder Cut?
I have not.
I haven't either.
I have
So
been putting it off. I wanted to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Um, without spoiling anything, because I'm sure you have not had time to watch that either. Within the first, I'd say 20 minutes, they took one of my least favorite Avengers and turned them into like a total badass. I was like, I get it now. Because I love the actor,
it all makes sense.
but like I'm not a huge I've
Yeah.
never been like in the comic and stuff, I've never been a huge Falcon fan, right? Some of his
Wow,
cost
spoiler.
it is Falcon. Who else could it be? Like we've already seen Winter
It's
Soldier
either
be a
Falcon
badass.
or Winter
We've
Soldier.
already seen Winter Soldier be a badass. Like he had a whole movie around him, and then like,
Yeah.
but whatever. So Falcon, like, he's always been kind of like comic relief and sort of like the emotional and connection with like Captain America and stuff in the movies, and like they became best homies and stuff. But like in the comics, he's always had these terrible costumes. He's like I just remember even in like the cartoon shows and stuff I used to watch, like he was always the one in peril, right? Like, oh, we got to go get Falcon. Oh, we got to go rescue Falcon because like he didn't
The
have powers,
damsel
guys. Like
the
he had no
the damsel
powers.
in distress.
He had like his wings and stuff were terrible. Like, and I'm talking about old school. I'm not talking about current because like his new stuff I believe is Stark Tech, and they've actually made Falcon pretty badass. Like, so again, no spoilers to the show for anybody that hasn't watched it, but it's only going to be 6 episodes long, and believe the episodes are going to be around 50 minutes to an hour. So it was good. I actually really enjoyed it, and it was the show that I was the least looking forward to out of all of the
Oh, I
Marvel
figured I figured it would
shows.
be good. I figured it would actually be pretty good. I mean, I feel like you have a good like you can kind of go anywhere with it type thing. And I mean, again, I just don't see Marvel putting up anything bad. I mean, asides like Captain Marvel.
I know, and like the movie itself wasn't bad. Just you had issues with a lot of the things, but visually it looked really good, and it was
Oh,
important.
yeah. I mean, I'm not. I just like I said, I think it was just how the storytelling went and stuff like that. The whole like, I mean, from the start of the movie, you could tell how this was about to go down.
I liked it, but you know,
Yeah,
it wasn't in like my top 5 of the best Marvel movies. Like I'd put it down there with the first 2 Thor movies. I think they're probably like the worst, and I think like Iron Man 3 was kind of not like it was okay, but I watch it.
wasn't the
It
best. Yeah,
wasn't my favorite, you know. Like I
yeah,
wasn't really crazy about Iron Man 2 either the first time I watched it, but I just recently watched it again and I was like that was better than I thought it was.
yeah. I mean, I think sometimes you miss out on some of the enjoyable things, especially like it's all about the hype about the movie too. Like if there's too
Yeah.
much hype into a movie, and then like you
Yep.
go into it like, oh, this is going to be the greatest movie of all time,
Well,
and then it doesn't.
they hyped Captain Marvel up too, right? Like a
Oh,
lot.
so much. Like I said, I
And
went into
it
that
was
movie
good,
expecting something great, and it
but
was
Wonder Woman was better.
mediocre.
Like Wonder
The
Woman was
first,
infinitely better.
the first Wonder Woman was phenomenal.
Oh, so good.
Uh, the second one,
I could
I,
watch Gal Gadot sit and read a cookbook for 2.5 hours and I would be entertained. No lie.
I mean,
I think
I,
she's just a joy to watch do anything
I
on
think,
screen.
I think I could have done without the second Wonder Woman. Like, that's not a movie that I would say is on my list to watch. And again, I've never seen it. I've heard only the reviews, so I can't form my opinion according to you.
It was slow.
Um,
I will
it,
say that
it
it was slow and it was not as good in my opinion as the first one. Do I
And
think you
I
should
think
catch it sometime? Yeah, I think you should catch it sometime, but
yeah.
I don't feel like
Well,
you're
this
missing much.
this is how I felt 'cause, you had my mom. My mom's not a very she likes the superhero movies, but she's not into it like that. Like, obviously, she doesn't buy into the hype. She's not like, "Oh my god, I need to go see that movie."
She was hyped for Wonder Woman.
She was hyped. She loved the first Wonder Woman. Loved it. Went to the second one, and when she says a movie is bad,
Yeah.
you know
Cuz your
it
mom
might be
likes, I wouldn't say she likes everything, but she's not a very difficult person to please when it comes to movies, because like you said, she's not a huge fangirl of the genre, and she gets dragged to a lot of Star Wars and
Oh,
sci-fi
yeah.
stuff. Like, she thinks it's okay, but it's not like her number one pick. Like, she wouldn't
Yeah.
pick that, right?
Yeah, she would watch a Hallmark movie before Star Wars. Like,
Right,
I
but
mean,
she's seen them. She's married to a huge dork. All of her kids are dorks. So,
yeah.
like, yeah, let's
Mhm.
go watch Star Wars. But
For sure.
was she upset at the Last Jedi? No, she didn't care that much. She was like, yeah, it was all right.
No, it was like, I think it's a good movie. This is
So
solid.
for her to come out and say that Wonder
Uh,
Woman 2 was like not good,
yeah,
that says a lot. But again, she's kind of a fangirl about Wonder Woman. So now
yeah,
she finally understands. Now she gets how we feel when they take something that we love and they do
torch
bad
it.
things to it.
Yeah, for sure.
So no,
Um,
I have not seen Snyder Cut. I Because I don't want to break it up into like two viewings. I kind of want to do. I want to watch the whole thing in one viewing. I've heard from uh, people on Instagram. God, I spend a lot of time on Instagram. I'm not gonna lie. Uh, a lot of people on Instagram, people on Twitter, people TikTok, everywhere. A lot of people that they said it was good. Critics were like meh, but the fans loved it. So, and I don't think that. I think that that's what they released it for, right?
oh, for sure. I mean, that's definitely what they did it for. Um, and again, I think from a lot of fans, they do like it. They do enjoy it. They did say like because it's near the end, the whole like Joker scene.
Mhm.
Like, I don't think you needed it. Glad it's there, type thing. Like, it's not the worst thing in the world that they've ever seen. Like, but a lot of people said the movie was it made it better. It definitely it
I
gave him more closure.
I think that some of the stuff that they added and some of the new stuff that they shot was not so much necessarily, and this might be a controversial opinion. I don't think that that was necessarily his original vision, right? Like, yes, it was his vision, but was he going to have all that stuff originally in the movie? I doubt it. I really doubt it. I think that this was kind of like the last hurrah. He kind of wanted to give back one last thing to all the fans that like supported the hashtag release the Snyder Cut, that were on board with it since like they even heard that the version of the film existed in support. When he had to when he had to leave.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that that was kind of like this whole movie, from what I gather, is basically like a big love letter to basically all those people that were like, we believe in you, we want to stick with you, we would want to see what your original vision was. Because if all that stuff was originally supposed to be in the movie, I think we all know that a lot of times a lot of stuff gets cut from movies. A lot of times they don't even film it. Like, they'll turn in a script and they end up cutting so much from the script because you just can't film it all.
So, I got a notification from Twitter. It was a
Hmm.
trending thing. Rick Moranis is trending on Twitter right now.
Why?
Apparently, there was a rioter at the U.S. Capitol buildings this past year.
Yeah.
Uh, that looks exactly like Rick Moranis. It's
It
not.
it definitely was not Rick Moranis. This is the
No,
second time in
they've already
recent
said
memory that he's been trending.
they've already said this. They hired an FBI agent. They said he looks like Rick Moranis to find this guy. And like they showed these pictures and it does look like Rick Moranis, but it's not him. Like they've already said like don't go looking for the actual Rick Moranis. Like
Like, man, that's another guy. I've always loved Rick Moranis, but the last time he was trending was because he got assaulted. Like, he was in New York City and he got assaulted by, like, some dude just came up and just like punched him. Like, it's fucking Rick Moranis. That dude is awesome. He seems like the nicest dude too.
oh, I've heard I mean like I said I mean he is pretty nice. I mean, he's a nice guy and he needs to come back
He's
to
like
movies.
really really funny too.
Oh yeah, he
Well,
needs to come back to movies.
he is.
Crazy.
From what I understand, he's going to be in the new Disney Plus Honey I Shrunk the Kids thing, which
Well, uh,
awesome. Sign me up for that.
they just did the extra trailer, like the official trailer for the Mighty Ducks movie that's
Yeah.
coming out, and
I
I'm like,
also
that's gonna
heard
be awesome.
rumors that he may or may not have a small cameo in the new Ghostbusters movie, because I've heard a lot of the original actors that are still with us show up in some capacity in that movie. So
Just don't give me another one like the last Ghostbusters.
I have much better faith in this remake or the sequel, because it's a sequel. It's not really a remake, and I wanted to like the new Ghostbusters movie that came out so much because it had so many people that are considered really funny, and it had a really good director, and it had really good
Just
writers. It had
you
really
can't
big cameo moments
you
from
you
people that I want to watch.
cannot you can't recreate. You cannot recreate the
Lightning
magic.
only strikes once, folks. It just
Yes.
does.
Yeah, you cannot recreate the magic of Bill Murray and that whole cast itself. I mean, from the whole like beginning of it where he's doing the whole like card reading thing where she's guessing all the cards right and he keeps shocking the one guy, even though it was like at
Cause
the end, because at the end he's like square and it's definitely a square. And
it's
it's like,
definitely a
oh.
square. My thing is the I think that the reason that the first one was so successful is because it had a big scale, right? Like it was big. And I think that the cast phenomenally talented. But it had an idea, it had a vision, and it stuck with it, right? And
Yeah,
then you have the sequel, Ghostbusters 2, which is kind of loathed by some. Um, it kind of lost that vision, right? Like it kind of went off on this other rail. I feel like it tried to be bigger and better than the last one. And how do you make it bigger? How do you make the stakes bigger and better than the last one when New York City was already like threatened? So now it's threatened by a ridiculous threat, and I don't know. So the remake, to me, it felt too much like uh, the Saturday Night Live cast movies were like back in the '90s and 2000s, when like pretty much a character that was on Saturday Night Live, like when they did, like the Ladies Man and Wayne's World movies like that, they put them on their own movie, and then they had these like small cameos from other people that were supposedly like funny or from Saturday Night Live, and it was just basically a movie about cameos. And I feel like that's kind of what the new Ghostbusters was. Like it had all these really funny people, but a terrible story that no one gave two shits about. I mean, the special effects looked good. Visually, it looked fine. I had no issues with that. And you have these really funny people doing really unfunny things.
yeah,
It just when I'll tell you, it's sad when you have all these funny people on screen, and the
yeah.
funniest scenes in the movie were with a person who's not a comedian.
Nice.
The scenes with Chris Hemsworth when he was all of his scenes are hilarious. They're the best scenes in the whole movie because he is not a comedian, but he is really funny. He's not a
Hey,
comedian, guys. He should not be the highlight of your comedian-driven
I
star
mean,
movie. Like
sometimes
that's
that happens. Sometimes it
my
happens.
opinion. But I liked him so much in it. I would love to see Chris Hemsworth do more funny movies, because it looks like he has comedic timing, and it was kind of fun to see him out of his element. We're used to seeing him as Thor, like the tough guy, like the leading guy, and
Well,
he was like the secretary, right? Like he was
I
just
mean,
like
I
it was cool. It was cool.
and I think I mean when the time comes where he passes off that Thor torch, um, I think you will see a diverse film collection out of him. I don't. I mean, he's still always going to be that fucking Jack, you know, the big guy. You
Huge,
know,
right?
yeah. I
Huge.
mean, they're not, I mean, he like I said, but even when Thor, in the past one where he's like pretty much fat Thor, I mean, that was comedy gold right there.
Yeah.
Super simple scene.
Yep.
They kept it relevant. They have the fucking Fortnite and the people talking trash on it. And like he says, I'll come to your house and rip your arms off. Like I said, it was funny.
But
And
he
again,
was funny in that scene.
exactly. But like I said, I think he is a funny guy. And
I just
yeah,
don't think he's really gotten that chance to
he's not
really
he's not
be
a quote
funny.
unquote he's not that quote unquote comedian. Like he's not gonna you're not gonna see a Chris Hemsworth stand up special like
I
on
would
Netflix.
watch it. I mean, I
But
would watch that.
but I mean, he's funny. I mean, I think any actor can be funny with good writing.
I don't think so.
Oh, I think so.
No, I see. I don't. I because
Obviously, it depends on the person. It depends on the person. I mean, you can't just throw anybody in there.
there's a lot of things about comedy that you can't teach, and it just kind of comes naturally to some people. What I mean by that is like good comedy. Because like not everybody can do stand up. Like that's a completely different type of comedy versus someone who's in a sitcom versus someone who is like in a funny movie. But like there's some people who are not what I would consider like I wouldn't go that person is probably funny. But then when you put them into a funny role, it works because they're not funny. That's why it's funny.
Mhm.
My favorite example of that is when they put Robert De Niro in the one movies with what's his face God, what's his name? It was the funny movie where he was talking about milking a cat and stuff. I don't remember. Meet the Parents.
Oh, yes.
He was
Ben
hilarious
Stiller.
in that movie.
Oh, for sure.
Ben
But
Stiller. Yes, I knew I'd get to it eventually. Ben
yeah, I was
Stiller.
gonna say, I was like, Ben Stiller, yeah. Okay.
Because Robert De Niro has always played like a tough guy, like a
Fucking
mob
Italian
dude.
fucking mob boss, yeah.
Like he's the guy that goes and breaks your kneecaps. He's the guy that solves problems, and we love De Niro for that, right? Like he's a great actor. But to see him in something where he was like genuinely funny, it worked because he's not a funny person. Like I wouldn't go Robert De Niro, tell me a joke.
But he could definitely play that whole, like,
Absolutely.
asshole dad like, the dad you're fucking scared of. I mean, the fear of
Yes.
God is in you.
He took
So, I
the
mean
he took the Italian mafia like thing and they just put him he basically was playing the same thing he's always played, but they just put him in a funny movie and
I
it
mean,
worked.
I think it's but again, yeah, I mean, you had him as the, what is it, CIA agent or something like that? Like, he
Yeah,
was
like
some kind of,
ex
like
CIA or something like that. Yeah.
yeah, like, something crazy. I mean, yeah, it fits the role, and then, like, you throw the comedy parts into it, and like I said, that's one of the another all-time great movie. I mean, that's another I mean, it's
There's just
great.
some people I would not want to see do comedy, right? Like Clint Eastwood.
No,
I
that would ruin
I,
his image,
I
yeah.
would never want to see a Clint Eastwood comedy movie.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. He is funny because he's not funny, right? But
yeah.
he's not like LOL funny. He's not like, oh man, did you watch that Clint Eastwood movie when he was telling all those jokes? Like, no. He used to say some cold shit back in the day when he was Dirty Harry before he'd like shoot somebody, but
Oh,
it was not.
yeah, did I shoot 5 bullets or 6? To be honest, I lost count with all this fun. Yeah, like, he gets I mean,
he's
do you feel lucky, punk?
he's not a funny guy, but he's like I don't know. So
Yeah,
there have been a lot of movies that were supposed to be funny, and they put people in it who were funny, and they had and they just it didn't work. And Ghostbusters was one of them. I guess is my point. I didn't care for it.
I mean, I agree. I mean, I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I mean, I think Ghostbusters could have been better. Do I think it
Hmm.
was terrible? I think it was pretty close to terrible, like, would not watch again.
I am going to give it some time, right? Because I was hyped for it. I was like, they're putting all these funny people in Ghostbusters. I want to watch that. I watched it and I was really disappointed. So I'm gonna give it some time. I'm thinking like maybe 4 or 5 more years, and then I'll go back and maybe try to watch it again. And maybe it's a hidden gem. Like, have you ever gone back and watched something that you watched before and it ends up being either better or worse than you remember it?
Trying to think of a movie. I would say by far, like, has changed my whole outlook on the movie is Princess Bride.
Yeah. What
As a
about it
kid
though?
as a kid, I would watch it with my dad. My dad fucking loves that.
It's still one of my all-time favorite movies.
It's one of mine. It is now one of my all-time favorite. And I used to watch it, and I'm like, "Why do we gotta watch this stuff?" I mean, I was the kid. I mean, I was the
He
kid. Is this
was.
a
He was like,
fucking
"Oh, is
kissing
this
book?
a kissing book?"
I
Uh,
mean, but then now I watch it, and I'm like, "This was fucking hilarious." I mean, absolute comedy gold from the start to the finish.
yep.
I mean, like, the whole, like, apothecary guy, like, "Nah, he's only partially dead." I mean, I've seen worse, and I'm like And like I said, I mean, it's so funny.
But
And Young Frankenstein
but you
used to
didn't get
hate
it,
that movie.
right? Like you didn't get it
Yeah,
when you were a kid, but now like you get it.
yeah, like Young Frankenstein. I sit around and quote Young Frankenstein all the time now.
And
Like
you should.
the whole Abby Normal, like when he says, "Oh, I got," what brain did you get? Abby Normal, Abby Normal. You got me an abnormal brain.
Yeah, but I mean, but
I
you should because
Yeah, I
that's
mean
probably Mel Brooks. I think probably his best movie.
I mean again, I mean
I
there's
like
just so
Spaceballs, but and I like Robin
there's
Hood
so
Men in
much
Tights,
in it.
but God, it's
The
just Gene Wilder, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean it just
man,
can't. You cannot put somebody different in that role and have them do the
nope,
job that he did.
nope.
And I mean, just from everything, put the candle back. I mean, like these iconic scenes that will be etched in cinema history for life. I mean, like I said, that's what I think the great thing about movies is there's definitely a lot of movies out there. I think if you watched them when you were younger and you didn't really like them, try to rewatch them. Rewatch
Yeah,
them now, when you're a little bit older, and see your difference in it. Like, I just think you'll be surprised on how many movies you kinda slept on, like 30 minutes or less. I had no intentions of watching that movie.
no, I remember when that came out, it was a stinker. Like everyone talked about how bad it was, how not good it was. Dude, we watched that the other night.
Yes.
That shit was hilarious. That movie was
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, and well, I watched it again last night with Noah. I mean, I watched it with him, and dude, he was dying the whole time. And I mean, again, it's movies like that that get slept on, that are these hidden gems. Like, is it a movie I'm gonna watch over and over again? No, but I guarantee you, like, oh man, like just try a movie. Like, go on Netflix today and watch a movie you've never seen, or a movie you've been contemplating to watch,
Well, they
and just
said that
watch
there's like there's an interesting thing that because I mean like Netflix keeps track of a ton of data on all of their users and what people are watching and stuff. I mean, it's how they know, like,
it. What to
you know,
recommend you?
yeah. I mean, they use algorithms and stuff that I don't really
Yeah,
understand. But they said that there's several movies. I think one of them, coincidentally enough, was a Chris Hemsworth movie that like bombed at the box office. Like it was
yeah.
bad, like no good. But people are actually watching it on Netflix, and it was like in the top 20 or something, and everyone was talking about how great this movie was, but like nobody went and saw it at the box office. And I think part of it is sometimes the movie just comes at the wrong time. There's too many other options for people to watch. There's too many bigger options for people to watch. So sometimes
Well,
especially these smaller comedies and stuff, they get looked over. Or and again, I think sometimes it's just like the timing of it. Like 30 minutes or less. Who knows what I don't remember what was going on in the world when that movie came out, but maybe there was some other stuff going on and people weren't in the mood to laugh.
yeah, I mean, again, I agree, and I mean, like I said, I mean, if 30 minutes or less comes out, the same day as Star Wars, your shit's not getting watched.
Well, no one releases again. Even Disney won't put out Disney movies against Disney. So
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, just like those kind of things, like I said, I mean, it depends on what you're going against. Again, yeah, I mean, you could have a really decent movie, like could be a movie that people are like, yeah, that's pretty good. But if you go against somebody that's like this titan of a movie coming out, like everybody's hyped to see it, you're just gonna lose. Like there's just no way around it. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have some people that are like, oh man, I'm so excited because they love the actors or something like that in it.
I
But
like that issue challenge. Let's throw a thing up on our socials. Since, we really need to start doing some stuff on our socials anyway. Let's
yeah,
put a challenge up like, hey, the this week watch something, go pick something on Netflix or Hulu or go pick a thing from the $5 bargain bin at Walmart of a movie you've never seen ever that you're like, that's going to be bad and
watch
you
it.
know, just do that. Just watch a movie you've never seen before.
I'll be
Or I'll
down with
even
that.
extend that, like watch a movie that you watched before that you thought you were gonna hate, but now you love. Like because like that's happened. Like I've watched a movie and I hated it the first time I watched it. And I went back and I watched it a second time through convincing or otherwise just telling myself it can't be that bad, right? Like let me try again. And I loved it the second time I watched it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's normal. I think that's a normal.
Hated
Uh,
Elf. Hated Elf the first time I watched it. Love Elf now. One of my
Elf,
all-time favorite Christmas
Elf's so
movies.
good.
But
Yeah,
I
Elf.
hated it the first time I watched it.
Yeah. Uh, yeah.
I
I
think that's
couldn't
I think
agree
that's a
more.
good challenge. I think let's throw the challenge out there. We're gonna try and start doing a little bit more on the socials,
Mhm.
folks out there that are watching. Like, and then you guys can post comments or whatever. We'll talk about them next week.
Yeah,
I think I'm also gonna do it. You can only watch one. If you want to watch more than one, do that. But like, watch
yeah,
one. Pick a movie that you wouldn't normally watch. Whether it's a maybe you're not into comedy, so go find a random comedy movie or a movie that came out before you were born and watch it. Like go watch something like
yeah,
that.
for sure. I mean, I'd be interested in to see what people pick.
Yeah, me
Uh-oh.
too.
Dog's upset.
Your dog
Got
is
the other
not happy.
got the other dogs up there barking. She's getting
she's like, hey, hey, do you hear these dogs? There's some dogs out there. They are barking right now. Do you hear them? Oh man, I wish that I could read inside of a dog's brain sometimes because I can't even imagine how hyped they get about stuff. Because I feel like they think that everything is like really exciting, and you know, they get really excited about stuff. But I get it. Like I get excited about stuff too. So I tell you, I'm not in a rush to do any more building of little tiny models. Like I'm not going to be doing that again for a while. That was hard. That took all day. I can't hear you. You are muted, sir.
I know she's still barking, so I'm just
No,
shaking my head. I'm trying to give you like the code words, like
got it. But yeah, I finally got the my Marvel Crisis Protocol set done. I bought Hulk and Doctor Strange, like the expansions, and got those done. They are outside my garage as we speak, waiting for the paint primer on them to dry. And I will be painting something soon. I may even put it on stream because, believe it or not, I've actually had a couple people, and it's strange. I don't get a lot of requests because I'm not super popular, but I have actually had a couple people say, "Hey, you ever thought about streaming you painting stuff?" And I'm like, "No, like who would watch that?" And then we were talking about it the other day, and you're like, "People will watch that," and I'm like, "Nah, they won't watch that. Yeah,
people will
they actually will watch that, even if you're not good at it. They don't care. They just want to watch it."
trust. Yeah, I mean, like I said, people can learn new things. I mean, it's like a kind of like a cool hobby to watch, and obviously, if you can support your buddy, I mean, people like that stuff.
Well, I think I'm
So
actually going to do some of my painting stuff down in where I stream anyway, because I think that the desk is the right height. The chair is more comfortable to sit in. I don't have to keep moving my ring light. I can just like leave it here. And obviously,
yeah, I would watch.
well, I may actually start today. I'm just not sure who I want to start painting. I have 13 models to pick from to paint, not
Go
counting
Doctor
all the.
Strange.
He seems like he's going to be the hardest one to paint. He was so hard to put together, dude. Like,
All right,
would
I'm not okay. Fine. Doctor Strange doesn't have to be.
I
Go
don't know.
Captain America. Go Captain.
I feel like they're all going to be hard, so I just have to pick one. Like the ones I'm the least excited about painting are like I'd say Crossbones and probably Baron Zemo. They seem like the most uninteresting.
So take those two out, and then lay them all out, just like randomly,
Well,
just
let's
not
see.
even looking, and then close your eyes and just pick.
There's 13 of them.
Okay.
If I took out one who I really don't want to paint like that much right now, I could just roll a 12-sided die and let fate decide.
I like it.
Um,
If you get see, well, yeah, you could do a 12-sided. I
I
was gonna
think I'm
say,
actually going to take Hulk out of the equation because I kind of want to paint him last. Because
do it.
he was the whole reason
Okay,
for me getting into this.
so do a 12-sided die. Obviously,
Yeah,
take Hulk out, and
yeah.
then if you get a nat one, you have to roll. You have to paint your least favorite one.
Well, then I would need a D20, right?
Yeah,
Because
it's fine.
I have 12 models of 12-sided dice.
But you're taking Hulk out, so you only have 11 guys.
No, if I take Hulk out, I'll have 12. If I leave Hulk in, I have
Yeah,
13.
yeah. So you take Hulk out.
That
That's
leaves
12.
me with 12.
Nat one would still get you. Yeah. Yeah, see,
But who would be number one? I should put the my least favorite guy in the number one spot.
that's what I'm saying. You're nat
Okay.
one. You have to pick the least favorite one. Yeah.
I mean, I might do Doctor Octopus. He seems interesting. Um,
Like I said, I think it would be cool to watch. I mean, I think you should do it.
I think I'm going to, but I don't know. I'm like really nervous about it because These were expensive. These are the most expensive miniatures I've ever bought to paint. Because like the other ones I buy, I'm like, oh, they were like $2 or $3 or whatever, and then I paint them. And if
I
you f
think
it up, you throw it in the garbage can. You just go buy another one. But
yeah,
Hulk was
I
like
think
$30, dude.
then do Hulk last after you get some warm
That's
up
why
rounds.
he is. That's why he is last.
Yeah, like I said, get some warm up rounds in. But
I don't know.
honestly,
I
I think
might
it'll
do
be
that.
interesting. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down to watch.
Yeah, I might play Avengers for a couple hours while I'm waiting for the paint to get like really good and dry, and then it should be good. I've left the garage open, and the sun is kind of beating on them, so they're probably good and toasty now. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really scared about it. I got to get my paint stuff set up down here too. So yeah, I may do that tonight. Yeah, I might do that. My goal is to try and get a couple of them painted a week, um, but I want them to be beautiful.
If you're painting them, they will be.
No, like you guys hyped me up a lot when I was sending out the pictures of like the Dragon Skull Hermit Crab, and you saw the super top secret boss monster for Dungeon in a Box that I painted. Um, and everyone's like, "No, man, you're like really good at that." I'm like, guys, it's not skill, it's shading. I
It's
had
shame.
no skill. It's the washes that I use that make it look like they're really super detailed. I'm putting base coat and trying not to be sloppy, and then I put wash on it, and then it makes me look like I'm an amazing artist, and I'm not at all. But hey, that Dungeon in a Box post that they shared, it got up to over 350 likes.
Have they taken it down?
No, it's still up.
That's good. That's good.
My actual post on my Instagram, like 29 likes. I'm like,
Let's
yes.
go. Yeah.
Actually, the Crisis Protocol stuff got the most amount of like hits than anything I've posted. So,
Pretty cool.
yay. Yay.
Yay.
All right, I think that if we're about at the hour mark, like an
Yeah,
hour and nine, countdown. I think it's a good point for stopping, and I kind of want to paint anyway. So,
sounds good. I mean, you send us off then.
all right. Well, I am Nictus from Those Two Nerds. We are signing off with Those Two Nerds today. So, just recaps. Check out our socials. We're everywhere on the internet. Ideas, suggestions, giveaways coming soon. I have some old Pokemon stuff, and I've heard that people really like getting old free Pokemon stuff. These will be coming from my personal collection. I won't tell you what they are, but it rhymes with ancient poo. All right, it's ancient Mew. I'm thinking about giving away an ancient Mew. So
Pretty cool.
we need some follows and some hits on our socials, and we need to be a little bit better about it. Yeah. Other than that, nope. We're out of here for this week.
Yep.
We'll be back next week. Enjoy springtime. I believe it's the first official day of spring was today or yesterday.
I think it was yesterday. Yeah.
So go out there and enjoy some sunshine, get some fresh air,
Yep.
drink lots of H2O.
That's some mighty fine H2O.
Yep. I am Nictus from Nictus Plays Games.
And I am Vera Coach.
Have a good rest of your Sunday, y'all.
Y'all, man.
Y'all.
All right. Have a good one, everybody. Thank you all for watching. See you next Sunday at 4. You handsome devils.
So, we're on our closing screen. Is your bracket all busted?
Yeah.
I kind of heard that everyone's bracket is